It's now up to the Texas Senate to decide if political memes should be criminalized. This is Thursday, May 1st, 2025.
Texas Scorecard presents the day's first news for the Lone Star State, the Texas Minute, with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Well, thanks for kicking off the month of May with the Texas Minute. It's great to have you join us on this Thursday edition. If you enjoy the Texas Minute, please give us a rating. If you have time, leave a review. The feedback means a lot to us, and it's the easiest way to help others find the show. Let's get to the stories of the day. A proposed resolution before the San Marcos Council could result in the central Texas city being cut off from state grants. At issue is a proposed city council resolution calling for the immediate and permanent ceasefire in, quote, occupied Palestine. It also calls for an arms embargo on Israel, recognition of Palestinian sovereignty, and the protection of what the resolution refers to as the constitutional rights for all people under national and international law. I wasn't aware that there's an international constitution. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is calling the resolution, quote, anti-Semitic in a letter he sent to San Marcos's mayor. The governor wrote that he's directed his office to review, quote, active grants that would be impacted by the passage of such a resolution. The San Marcos City Council is set to discuss the resolution on May 6th. A former Eanes Independent School District teacher is facing additional charges after previously being arrested for possession of child pornography. Now the man is accused of inducing the sexual performance of a child under the age of 14. The new charges against Zachary Barnett come after a search of his home found devices containing thousands of photos of his female students. According to the law enforcement affidavit, the majority of Barnett's self-produced videos were zoomed in to the female students' skirts, their underwear, and crotch area. Barnett reportedly played a game with his students in the classroom where they would freeze and pose. He would then take photos of them in a sexually explicit manner. Meanwhile, Austin Independent School District's elementary teacher Carl David Inman is also facing charges for using AI to manipulate images of his students to create child pornography. By a vote of 102 to 40, the Texas House approved legislation yesterday by former Speaker Dade Phelan that would criminalize the distribution of altered political media such as memes, videos, and audio recordings unless they contain a government-mandated disclaimer. Originally pitched as a response to AI-generated deep fakes and campaign content, Phelan's legislation is significantly broader in scope. It doesn't just apply to artificial intelligence, but also to any image, audio, or video that, quote, did not occur in reality. That's a definition that includes basic Photoshop edits and parody. First Amendment advocates warned that the legislation would chill political speech and satire. As passed by the House, the measure technically applies only to individuals and entities who fall into one of three categories, but critics argue those definitions are too vague. Even the General Counsel of the Texas Ethics Commission has said political content posted online could in fact fall under the legislation's jurisdiction. Republican State Representative Shelley Luther of Sherman, who was jailed back in 2020 after opening her hair salon during the COVID lockdowns, took particular issue with Phelan's legislation subjecting individuals to up to a year in jail. Yes, a year in jail for an unapproved meme. The measure now goes to the Senate for possible consideration and action. The Texas Minute will be right back.
The Luke Macias Show is your access to what happens behind closed doors in Texas politics. Listen weekly to me, your host, Luke Macias, as I break down what is actually happening in conservative politics in the Lone Star State, a state that we all love and cherish. Listen weekly wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is a product of Texas Scorecard.
At a Houston Crime Stoppers roundtable yesterday, Governor Greg Abbott pushed for a constitutional amendment reforming the state's bail system. In Abbott's comments, he said there have been more than 200 cases of dangerous criminals free on bond killing an innocent person in the Houston area alone since 2019. Among other things, his amendment would require that judges deny bail in most cases to defendants who are accused of violent offenses such as murder, rape, and human trafficking. In cases where judges do grant bail to violent offenders, they would be required to provide a written public explanation for their decision. As a priority of Governor Abbott, the bail reform proposal passed out of the Senate back in February, but has been stalled in the Texas House since mid-March. You can find the details of this story and the others mentioned today and keep up with the latest news by visiting TexasScorecard.com. The Texas Minute is produced by Nick Shepard. Today's edition was based on the original reporting of Ian Camacho, Sidney Henry, Brandon Waltons, and Joseph Trimmer. I look forward to seeing you out around the Lone Star State. Have a great day.